Hello, hello, my beloved sacred masculines and anybody else who finds their way to this channel. Welcome to another episode of Deep Penetration with Star. This is the show where we get deep into some juicy topic around sacred sexuality to support our opening into those deep, fulfilling, penetrating, sexy, passionate connections and experiences of life, of the divine, of each other, of our passion, our purpose, all that we're truly longing for and that really lights us up and makes our hearts sing. So, welcome. I'm so grateful for your presence. I'm thrilled to be sharing with you. It's been a little bit. I'm on pilgrimage in Peru right now and having a really marvelous time. It's been very awakening. And I've been doing a lot of integrating from this ayahuasca retreat that I just completed about a week ago. So continuing to see how that all unfolds and how that is really manifesting all the healing, all the empowerment, all the wisdom and insights. You know, how does that continue to open up and unfold and show up in my life? So I did a whole series on that. That experience, if you want to check it out, go into my playlist, and it's Sacred Awakening, I believe it's called. So just documenting the whole journey, and very, very powerful. So if you're interested in ayahuasca or plant medicine in Peru, check that out. So, okay, so what I wanted to share with you today was about an experience that I had recently in Cusco. Excuse me, I just ate my breakfast. I'm like, yeah, so was looking for a massage and found a lovely gentleman who offered a variety of different massages, including energy healing work. And, you know, since that's something I do, I got excited and curious about that and different types of healing modalities and, you know, aura clearing and chakra cleansing and stuff. So I was like, yeah, let's do that. And was also curious about some of the other things he offered, like sensual massage and tantric massage, which are, you know, things that I offer for my clients. Those are sessions I offer. So I was very curious, like, I wonder how this person does their sessions. And I had never been on the receiving end of one of these sessions necessarily. So I got a little curious about that, and so I went, but I didn't book that right away. I went and had a massage with this person, and it was quite lovely. So, and the atmosphere was nice, and he just seemed like a lovely person. So eventually I left to go on my ayahuasca retreat, and I connected with a woman there who had seen this guy for a tantric massage, and she said it was amazing. So go check this out. I'm like, okay, great, awesome. So I decided on the way back through Cusco that I was going to book a session with this person. So very exciting and really a little nervous being on the other end of it. You know, I am usually the one offering the massage, offering the session. So I'm in control and and I know what to expect. And now I know what it's like to be on the other end of that and be the one showing up ready to receive. So I kind of got to experience more of what my clients experience on that end. And it's, yeah, you just don't know what you're walking into, right? For me on my end, when I'm the giving person, you know, when I'm creating the session, I know what to expect. I know it's happening, but somebody walking into it, you know, it might be all new for them. So this might be their first time connecting with somebody who offers sensual sessions and such. So it's interesting. One thing that I really liked about this guy's information was that he talked so much about the importance of boundaries and helping his client to feel safe and safe to explore, safe to say yes, to say no, etc. So that was very appealing to me because that's a huge part of how I do my sessions as well. You know, what are your boundaries? What are your turn-ons? What turn off? You know, what are your no's? What are your yeses? What would you like to experience or explore? And that's really important for us to all. And I want to share what my boundaries are. What are my yeses and nos? So then I can just relax into the session, right? Knowing that we've had the discussion, and you know that just creates a container for so much more pleasure, right? When we don't have to worry about like, oh, is this going to happen or is that going to happen? And I'm not ready for that. You know, it's not my thing. really freaking important. So this guy, in sending information ahead of time about the session, he said that was a real big piece for him. So I was excited to just go and release into this comfortable, safe, sacred space and just receive, pleasure and touch and etc. So and the sacred masculine, right? I was just really excited to just be on the receiving end of that and just like, relax into that. Whew. So I set the session and got there, and we sat down, and it was a lovely space, and he, asked me if I was familiar with Tantra, and I said, yes, absolutely. And I didn't tell him what I do, or that, it didn't feel important, right? Like it wasn't that kind of a situation. I didn't need to be sharing about myself in that way. I was just there to receive beautiful, sensual, sexy energy, right? So, and then kind of in no time at all, the session had started, and I was just like, we didn't talk, you didn't ask me about my boundaries or anything. You didn't create that space for me and help me to relax into it, and you didn't tell me what your boundaries are, and none of that discussion happened. And it was just like, that was a really big piece of it for me, was to go and to have this space created for me and held for me with somebody that understood the importance of it, because not everybody does, right? And it's especially important for the feminine to have a safe space where she can just really receive. Feminine energy is receptive. And the masculine is often trying to give to the feminine, and the feminine is not receptive, right? Because she doesn't feel safe. And this is, through her own personal experience, through collective experience, through intergenerational trauma, energies that we hold into our bodies. There's so many ways that we don't feel safe, and we don't know, we haven't really been taught very well how to have these communications, and we don't often know our bodies enough even, and to know what our boundaries are, and this is part of the journey, and part of what I talk about so much, how important it is to know ourselves and know what our turn-ons and turn-offs are. What are our boundaries? What do we want to explore? What helps us to feel safe, right? This is key. This is absolutely key, because again, the feminine really needs to feel safe. We all need to feel safe, but the feminine especially, just because of so much history and so much sexual abuse and such. So when the feminine isn't feeling safe, she's not able to receive the masculine and what the masculine is wanting to give, right? And so much of us, we know these dynamics, right? I wouldn't be surprised if you've been frustrated with a partner or something when she shuts down, and plug in whatever gender you want here, but that feminine energy will shut down and just like and is not receptive. So we've all been on both ends of that, I think, and likely anyway. So we know what that feels like when there's a shutdown and an inability to receive. And then it's just part of what we're working through in our experience, and that's a huge part of what we're doing here on this channel, is helping us to get comfortable, learn ourselves, get to a place where we do feel safe and can safely express that, feel comfortable expressing that to a partner. So I was excited about this experience just for that reason, for somebody else to hold that space for me and create that space for me where I didn't have to create the container myself, right? I'm used to creating that container. I wanted to be on the other side where somebody was creating that for me that I could just release into. And it didn't happen. I was just like, what? And then I found myself at points feeling like I wanted to kind of take over and start directing the experience. And that's my masculine wanting to jump in so that my feminine feels safe, right? This is how the masculine and feminine energies work within ourselves, where we can start to notice that. My feminine didn't feel safe, so my masculine wanted to kind of jump in and start organizing, orchestrating, and being the doer, which is the masculine energy. And I had to stop myself and say, no, I'm here to receive. And I know myself enough, and I'm strong enough now to just be assertive and just say, hey, don't do that. That's not comfortable. Luckily it didn't have to go there, but it was just a frustrating experience. And I'm bringing this in to share with you the importance of helping the feminine feel safe and helping your own feminine feel safe so you can relax into an experience, right? And you can relax into an experience with yourself. Even this is not just with a partner, but So much of how I try to support men is helping them to like open into their feminine energy, right? And that can be really practiced with self-pleasuring, because we can get really attached to that outcome, having that orgasm. And how do you like just relax into it and explore and touch and feel and let yourself intuitively guide you without an attachment to outcome. This is so this is helping yourself to feel safe to explore and let go and connect with other types of pleasure that you might experience, other areas of your body that feel sensation, and having a bigger experience than just that attachment to outcome. And trying to be really fast in it too. A lot of us are just like, let's get this done and go, right? We just want that orgasm, we're done. But there's so much more that's possible for us, and so much more available, so much more pleasure. And this is kind of how we go about life, right? And that's shutting down the feminine, our own feminine, our emotions, our intuition, our body's pleasure, just really, again, hyper focused on some goal, and that's really how a lot of us live our lives, right? Not being in the present, in the moment, not being present with our bodies, not being present with our experience, not being present with our emotions, not being present with our partner, not being present with anything, right? Focused on the future, focused on a goal, or focused in the past, right? There's that too. So this is part of why I'm bringing this in, because it's so important to help create a container for yourself. And then if you're engaging with a partner, helping to create that container for them, helping them to feel safe. The feminine has to feel safe. And when they don't, they're not able to receive what you have to offer. They're maybe going to go into their own masculine and just do, and not be receptive, and or they're just going to shut down too, right? If they don't feel safe. So communication. Getting clear on boundaries, having that conversation ahead of time. And this doesn't have to be like every single time, but when you're connecting with a new partner, have those conversations and set that container and create that. And then do periodic check-ins, like, has anything changed? Is there anything more you'd like to explore here? But really creating that, and then honoring that, not pushing the boundaries, right? Not pushing them. And this is really important to connect with other people who are interested in the same things you are. So if you don't have these conversations, and you come to find out later, like, wow, this person isn't even interested really in having sex, or just doing it because they think they have to, and you're a very sexual person, that's a huge mismatch. It's going to be a real problem down the road, right? So having these conversations ahead of time and getting clear and making sure that you're clear on your own desires and passions and longings and what feels good and what you like, getting clear on that within yourself so that you can express and share it with somebody else. So if you don't have that within yourself, you're of course going to not have those fulfilling, sexy, passionate relationships or sexual connections you're longing for, because you're not clear on it yourself. So how can you communicate that to another person, and how can you magnetize in what you are longing for if you're not clear on what you're longing for, right? And that doesn't mean you have to have it all figured out, right? But there's some things we know, with it that but this is also the journey, right? It's important that we go on this journey for ourselves and start to explore and start to get clear on what that is. Of course, huge areas for growth and opportunity and exploration here, right? We don't like lock in, that's not what I'm saying, but are you super into anal? Then you're going to need to be with somebody who's like really into that too, right? I mean, if you're clear about that, or you're super not into it, you need to be able to share that with somebody and know, so again, if there's a huge mismatch, you find a way to work with that, or decide that it's not compatible, right? So really important. And I know we're not used to having these conversations a lot. This was where I was going to mention also a book called The Ethical Slut. I've talked about this before. They offer some really good tips and tricks and guidance into getting clear and how to communicate and what to think through to have those conversations. So really, really good book. And I think it's great whether you're going to be monogamous or not. So it's just really helpful and helps you to kind of get clear on your own energies and your own sexuality and your own self. So The Ethical Slut, I can't remember the authors, but just, type it into a search browser, search engine, and it'll show up. So there's that. What was the other thing? Oh, also this person touted this as a tantric massage, and I was really curious, since I offer sessions, tantric sessions, what did that mean to this person? How, because it's such a big word, it's so all over the place, right? So what did that mean to this person? And you know, from what I could tell and what my experience was, there was no tantra happening. It was a lovely sensual massage and it was beautiful, but for me, tantra is it's a philosophy. For one, it's a way of life. It's how we live our lives, and it's, for me, it's really coming into harmony, union, and balance of our own feminine and masculine within, so that we can share that without. And we do this through we do a lot of our own healing work, right? We do a lot of energy healing, working with our energy body, working with our channels, energy channels, through breath work, through meditation, through japa, through mantra, through yoga. You know, there's so many ways that we can work with our energy body and help to open those channels and clear out the stuck, stagnant, blocked energy, right? Which all of our patterns, our mental thought patterns, our unhealthy patterns, disease, stuck stuff in the body, it's all energy, right? So working with these channels opens up our energy body and clears this stuff out. That's just what it does. And there's a number of ways to work with that, but that's a huge piece of Tantra from what I have learned and studied. And so working with energy is key here. Working with the breath is key, right? So there was none of that happening in this session. No practicing breath work, no guidance on how to open up my energy and receive and open up the sexual energy, which is an important piece, and that's what I include in my tantric sessions. It's a really important piece. Setting intention, getting very clear on intention, is also an important piece for me in my sessions, and there was none of that. No, there just wasn't really any communication and any indication that it was any sort of tantric anything, right? Also, offering up the energy, offering up sexual energy for a number of things, right? For the good, the spiritual good of all people, right? Opening up to love, offering it to the God and Goddess within and without, right? There's what we do with the energy that we are creating. So for me, it's really about working with the energy and harnessing and channeling that for a number of different purposes, right? And that's why you get clear on that ahead of time. So there was nothing there happening. So I bring this in because I think you know, that word tantra, there's so many people, it's like about teaching people how to have a bigger orgasm, or, you know, and that's all great, but it's not what we would call tantra. You know, if you want to learn what tantra is, I talk about it in some videos, and I have a number of books on my website, great tantric books, authentic tantra, to get you started on your journey if you want to learn more about what this is. Tantra has been so there's a lot of misconception around it, because on the tantric path, nothing is shunned. Everything in our human experience is brought onto our path of awakening, right? So that means sexuality as well. We're not trying to shun the body. We're not trying to ascend out of the body. We're not trying to transcend the body. There's no shunning, shaming, guilt, punishment around the body. All of the senses, we're here in this human body, and it's here for us to awaken. It's a tool for our awakening. Sexual energy is huge energy for us, and it's a tool for our awakening, you know, if we connect with it and such. So I think people, you know, especially coming from Western society where sexuality is really perverted and distorted and shunned and shamed, the body is something dirty and evil and gross and something to get out of, especially the female body, right? So I think Westerners, like, connected with this tantric tradition, they're like, oh, sexuality is involved, or it's okay, it's supported. So I'm going to take that piece and just run with it, you know, because it's such an imbalance here. So it kind of, they took it and went a little too far, like, because that's not actually the key piece of tantra, you know, but a lot of people think it is, that it's all about sexuality. It's all about this orgasm, bigger orgasm. It's, you know, again, a lot of misconceptions. So I invite you to explore what Tantra truly is, if it's calling to you. If you're just looking for a bigger sexual experience, you know, that is great too. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just trying to say, like, what Tantra is and isn't. And I'm no expert, but I've, done a lot of teachings. I've done a lot of practice. I've read a lot of books. I've studied it. And it's, I have a little idea of what I'm talking about. So, but Neo-Tantra is can be a lot more around sexuality. And that's a beautiful thing. That is, I'm not saying it's not, because this is important work, but some people that are saying they're tantric practitioners are maybe just sensual massage type people, So again, Tantra is a philosophy. It's a way of life. It's a set of practices. It's a tool for spiritual awakening. And sexuality is, it's just a different thing, right? So explore that for yourself. I think this is important, especially for women, because, they can get taken advantage of going to see somebody who's saying they're a tantric teacher and they're just wanting to have sex with their students. This happens a lot. And this happens in authentic Tantra as well. That's just kind of a strange, unfortunate dynamic that arises, and with teacher student, that can just happen in any tradition. So, but it's very important to be discerning and discriminating, and to do your research and see who you're actually connecting with and what they're offering. What does it mean to them? If this is something you're interested in exploring, and I know what I do is going to be wildly different than what somebody else offers, but this is, again, through my own experience, through my own teachings, through my own practices, and what's opened up for me, and how I'm interested in supporting people to connect with their own sexual energy and have a bigger experience of that energy, right? And that's a big piece of it for me, to just kind of recognize that there's so much more that we can tap into here, right? And it is, for me, a doorway into the spiritual path, because a lot of people come into Tantra, Neo-Tantra, seeking for something. There's something, I know for me in the beginning on my spiritual path, I knew there was something for me around sexuality that was just so spiritual, and it connected me to the divine, and that energy was just such a beautiful energy. I knew there was something there. I knew there was something there for me on my spiritual path. And I typed in into the search engine spirituality and sex. Up comes all this tantric stuff. And there was like tantric, at the time I was in Portland, tantric meetups in Portland. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go explore this. And what was my point there? Just what I ran into was very interesting, let me just say. But I definitely connected with those teachers who were looking to have sex with their students, and I certainly explored that, and then quickly got very disillusioned and realized, like, this is just not what I'm really searching for, right? I'm searching for a spiritual, something bigger. I guess my point was, like, it got me in the door, right? It got me in the door. So that's part of what we're doing here, right? Because this can open you up to such a bigger experience of your whole life. Our sexuality is such an important energy. And when we start diving into that and start bringing more awareness to it and consciousness to it, it can start opening things up for us on a much bigger level. So that's kind of my in and where I'm coming from with all of this. It didn't take me too long on that path to connect with an authentic tantric teacher, a woman teacher, which was really important, very key. She was not looking to have sex with her students, so, and she'd been studying and practicing for a very long time. And so luckily I did connect with a very amazing, powerful woman teacher that I learned so much from. And that is where I'm sharing from, all that I've learned from her and from my own study and my own practices and other traditions as well. It's been a conglomeration and a blend. So that's where I'm coming from. I know the path. I know what happens when we go down the path. I know, and it's, of course, going to look different for everybody. We're all going to have our own unique experiences, but there are certain things that are part of the spiritual journey that do happen. And this is a very powerful path and a very powerful tradition. The practices are extremely powerful, and they will open things up, and they will change your life. Absolutely. So sexuality for us, especially in the Western world, is an important gateway in, and a lot of people come into their spirituality through this. So that's my jam, and that's why I am in this realm, because it's important, and people do show up to come see me, not maybe realizing just what they're looking for. And then through our experiences and sessions, they discover like, wow, what I'm longing for is so much bigger than a big orgasm. I'm actually longing for a connection with my own divinity within, with an orgasm within, like a life orgasm, right? That's what I'm actually longing for. I thought I just wanted some sexual connection. I thought I just wanted to have sex, but I want that sexy union within and with the divine, you know, and that just starts to become more conscious for them and more of an awareness for them. And so off we go on our journey, you know, but it's a gateway in again. And so if that's speaking to you, I invite you to check out my website for so many more resources. Check out all of my sessions, upcoming pilgrimage to India called Tantra and Transformation, where we're really going to dive into this and really explore what that is and go and explore at the source, right? So so check that out. Also a program, a 12-week program that's going to be coming out. We're going to be starting the next cohort in January that will dive into all of this and really get into our energy body and how energy works and how to, you know, relate to the universe and understand it as energy, and how powerful it is when we start relating to everything as energy and realizing how much power we have to shift that energy. We can drastically change every freaking aspect of our lives. And but don't take my word for it. Check out the beautiful testimonials that are on my website and from men that have gone through the program and just had real life-changing, amazing experiences going through that. And I have many testimonials on my sessions as well, so be sure to check that out. Let's see, what else do I have to share with you? I feel like I'm just going to check in with myself here for a second. That's interesting. Usually we do tarot cards in this, but I just really wanted to share about my experience there with the I love that I'm titling this "I Paid for Sex." You know, and this is, it's just kind of funny. We're turning the tables, right? Again, being on the other side of it. But, you know, and there's many reasons why people do this. Again, having a safe container to explore and just feel held and not have to worry about any long-term commitment afterwards, right? I mean, we really long for sexy, passionate connections. You know, maybe we just don't want all the baggage that can come with it, or maybe we're learning our sexuality and we'd like a safe place to do that with somebody that can really hold space for us, which is what I love to offer for people. You know, or we're just looking to have some really sexy, sensual energy, right? With somebody who knows what they're doing, it can really, like, you know, hold that space for us and create that space for us. So, you know, there's a number of reasons why my clients come to see me. And yeah, so it was fun to be on the other end of that and just feel no shame. You know, there's so much stigma around this in our society. You know, it was a beautiful thing to have that opportunity, and women don't have that as much. You know, for men, there's so many beautiful, amazing women out there offering services, right, to support to support the masculine and themselves. I mean, oh my gosh, this is my passion, right? I love to connect with the masculine, so it's a beautiful win-win for me, absolutely. But women, if they're really desiring to be with somebody, to have an experience where somebody can just totally hold space for them and really bring it, and that knows a female body, right? That was the other thing I was excited about. Here's somebody who, you know, had really studied it and really gotten into it and was all about offering pleasure, and I just really was excited about that. So yeah, men have this opportunity a lot, but women just don't. So it was thrilling to come across that and go, yeah, I want to be on the receiving end, and yes, I'll gladly pay for that, you know. And I don't know if that's what the legalities here in Peru are, but you know, and that's the other thing we bump up against too, right? So anyway, really no shame around that, and there shouldn't be. It's just about pleasure, it's just about connection, it's just about giving and receiving love, right? And I did experience pleasure in this session. It was quite lovely. It was just a couple of things were off for me, you know, and I wanted to, I thought it was a great thing to bring into a discussion with you and share about my experience there around that. So also important things to look for when you're seeking out that experience, right? What kind of a container is this person going to create for you? You know, and that's why I'm very clear on my website about all of that so much. So so yeah, do be sure to check that out if you're interested in exploring that further. And thank you so much for being here. I think that's it. I feel like there was some other things I maybe wanted to say, but I don't know. It's not coming through right now. So I'll always create another video if it comes back. So thank you again so much. Thank you from Peru. I'm getting ready to go on an Amazon cruise today. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is a very exciting part of my journey down here, my pilgrimage here. So getting to go out and connect with the jungle, the gorgeous, beautiful, feminine energies of the jungle. She's just magical. And the wildlife out there, the nature out there, the animals, and the water. Today's an eclipse in Pisces, so that's a water sign, and I'm going to be on the water for that, so I'm very excited about that. That's such a powerful feminine energy. So happy eclipse to all of you. There's some deep clearing and ending right now going on, so may all that is not serving you in your highest good dissolve into those Pisces ethers, right? Into that Pisces water, and just let it go. Just let it go. Sounds easy enough, right? But allow it. If you're coming to this within a couple of days of my posting it, the eclipse is on September 17th. So if you're still in that energy, we're in an eclipse gateway. We'll be in from September 17th, from 2 weeks out to the next eclipse. So we've already been in the energy for a few weeks now, even up to a month. So if you're coming to this at any time in between there, just really set your intention to release all that is not serving you. You know, it can really be that simple, and just really open whatever's coming up for you. Intuitively, whatever's coming up for you, just like, okay, I set the intention to release that. And it's a lot of old karmic patterning right now. There can be a lot of old codependent relationship kind of stuff that's karmic relationship patterns dissolving right now. That's a huge theme right now with the South Node in Libra. That Libra is the sign of relationship and partnership, and the South Node is ending, karma's ending and clearing. So a lot of relationships clearing out right now. A lot of endings to relationship patterns and very unhealthy codependent patterns we've been rocking out from what we inherited from our family, right? So so yeah, allow that process, trust that process, whatever's coming up for you. And I don't know about you, but I've been definitely having some old relationship stuff show up in my face that I'm having to, like, okay, let's clear this again, let's deal with this again. So, but really allowing that and recognizing where it is unhealthy and where I'm just, you know, stuck in some karmic loops, and just it's time to say no and just like really freaking end it. So that can be painful, right? That can be painful. So wherever you're at in your journey, I wish you so much love and passion and pleasure and joy and awakening and liberation, freedom from all of these karmas that we've been rocking out, right? So, and if you're interested in support around that, again, I offer spiritual guidance sessions. You can come and connect with me around that, and the program and the pilgrimage coming up. So the pilgrimage is going to close shortly, so if you are interested in that, be sure to check it out. All the links are below, and get signed up, you know, ASAP, because it is going to shut down. The enrollment time is going to shut down here shortly. So thank you again so much for being here. Happy eclipse to you, and I'm wishing you so much pleasure on your journey. Bye all.